In today's wet, windy West Wales weather, we're going to have a quick tour of this Valk 48 Vitesse, a rusty old boat that's been neglected for 10 years and been stood on the hard standing, rotting here for the last 8 years. Welcome back, everybody. Sorry it's been a while. It's a little bit of a challenge at times getting to the boat. It's a 6-hour drive, as you know, so we usually need at least 4 days off work to be able to get 2 days work, because drive down there is 1 day, the drive back's another, leaves us 2 days. And recently with shift patterns, it's been a bit more challenging. So, you know, about every 2 weeks we manage to get about 2 days worth of work. So getting some video footage that you might find interesting is a little bit challenging. So because of that, we're probably going to try and produce videos regularly, but we're not going to be able to do them every week. We'll probably try and produce a video every fortnight and release it on a Monday. Anyway, before I go further, I just wanted to thank everybody. Thank you, first of all, to everybody watching this video. Thank you also to all the subscribers. And thank you too to all those who have given us additional support. We really do appreciate that, and I'll put a quick list of all those people down here on my left. Anyway, good morning. So we got here 2 o'clock this morning, just got up, got some friends. You like it? So this is apparently a typical West Wales day. It's absolutely wet through. He's chucking it down. I need some Wellington boots. We've just been to do a bit of shopping and lugging everything back on the boat. Oh. Up the, where are we? The stairway to heaven. It's pretty wet down there. Don't look at the top of the van. West Wales. Welcome to Wales. Chucking it down. Well, here we are. This is Blue Steel. She was formerly called Francisca. She's a Valk Vitesse 48. She's made in Holland, and she's made out of steel. And as you can see, she's been on the hard standing for about 8 years and is in pretty poor repair at the moment. The hull has been shot blasted. A few people have asked about getting the hull shot blasted, but she's already been shot blasted and she's got some post shot blasting paint on, which has probably been on there a little bit longer than should have been. You'll also see there's the hole in the side of the hull. We've got to repatch that up again. That's where some of the hull was removed. And moving forward onto the bow, you can see some of the work that we've done, just trying to inhibit some of the rust, but not all of it. We've really attended to all the major stuff and the stuff where there's holes. Now you can see the bowsprit, if that's what you call it, it's in pretty poor repair as well. Quite a bit of corrosion around there. And there's a crest under here. We don't know what that is. I don't know whether that's a Valk crest or whether it's something else. We've not got a chance to clean that up yet. You see the starboard side is pretty much as rough as the port side, and we've probably spent less time on the starboard side because it's less obvious when you drive up, and we're always attending to the bits that we see ourselves and decide that we want to do. Just returning to the port side rear for a minute, where we've ultrasounded, you can see some of these ultrasound readings are pretty low. 2.57, 3.08, it should be over 4. 4 mil is the thickness of the steel. So you can see where some of the steel's good, but where it's poor, and underneath you can see fairly significant corrosion, which is where most of the bad corrosion is, at this rear area, which is under the stateroom, the rear berth, the double cabin at the back. The blue patch there, that was where the shot blaster had missed the shot blasting. We did ultrasound this hull. Just quickly, it was a quick survey at first when I first bought her, just to have a look at the state of some of the steel. And of course, there's the hole that's been cut in the side of the boat. We'll talk more about that later. Just temporarily repatching it up, but it does get a little bit more of this butyl tape later to make it more secure. And also you can see significant corrosion around the vents. Those vents go into the engine room. There's some patches there where fenders look as though they've been rubbing on the side of the boat and they've rubbed through the paintwork. They've got some red oxide on there, put on by the previous owner. Corrosion under the gunnels that needs attending to. Butyl tape there covering up a few holes. There's corrosion under there. And some ultrasound readings, a little bit sparser as we come forward because the hull was a lot better. You can see nearly every reading here was over 4. But there is pitting there inside the tunnel for the bow thruster. It's very pitted in there, so that's going to need some work too. But most of the steel work up front is fairly good. That's where, from a previous video you remember, we've repaired some of the pitting and the hole, or we've temporarily repaired them. We've added some rust inhibitor. And that's the other patch. More corrosion under the gunnels. So all the way along both port and starboard. So a lot of work to do under those two. Those are above the waterline, some more superficial. More patches where fenders have rubbed. And you can also see the corrosion on the engine room vents on the starboard side too. Going under the boat, that big hole was cut out by the previous owner. That's the fuel tank. That's still full of water. One of the areas I've not quite finished drying out at the moment. And that's a job to be done fairly soon. And the rickety cradle. So you can see as well the galvanic corrosion where the stainless steel handrails go into the hull. So starboard side also are looking pretty shabby and needing a fair amount of work doing to it. Moving aft, that's the exhaust full of birds' nests. And also those are the rams that don't work at the moment. If you look underneath that bathing platform, very significant corrosion there. That bathing platform's no longer safe to walk on. And of course we were doing, because we were climbing those ladders to get up and down the boat until we put the stairway to heaven in. Quite a lot of patches of corrosion here. There were quite a few holes. We've butyl taped a few of them. There's some rust inhibitor in areas, but a lot of work to do here at the back too.
I'm going to try and do the video tour in the rain. So let's start up here.
So here we are in the pouring rain. This is the aft deck. And you can see a lot of the teak, even though it's looking a little bit green and slimy, is in reasonable order. Underneath there, that's the hatch to the aft room that was broken into, that we've now bolted a piece of wood in place to make that secure and dry. That's looking down the back, that's to the bathing platform, the rickety bathing platform. Those are the ladders that we used to climb up. And here's the ceiling of the sheltered part of the aft deck. You can see there's some corrosion where the screws have screwed those panels in above us. Some patches there I've repaired. That's Jotun 87 over the top. They are temporary repairs. That was more me testing the paint than being a permanent repair. These are the aft doors. They're kind of bifolding aluminium doors that we're going to need to replace. And going down the starboard side, as you can see, looking a little bit grotty, needs a bit of cleaning up, but you can see here along the outside quite a few patches of corrosion, particularly bimetal corrosion where the stainless steel has been screwed into the carbon steel. You'll see there's significant corrosion, and that's due to poor galvanic corrosion and this boat just being left on the shore power. Now you can see here, these are the patches that I spoke about before where we had some kind of corrosive material land. So this is where the all that black stuff was. It had blown up to the back here, so it wasn't like bird shit which would just drop on it. It was all blown to the back, and it's kind of corroded its way through. You see here I've splashed a bit, missed a bit there, a bit of Jotun on it because I had some left in a pot, some rust inhibitor on bits of it, but you can see how the paint corroded away. So that's that mystery of some corrosive substance falling on the roof. This is the roof to the salon and the galley. You can see through the window there is the galley. There's some corrosion under this sill. Oh, hello, that's the wife. Oh, she's doing sign language. Anybody any idea what that means? Because I've got no idea. I'll hide out the way before she starts shouting at me for not understanding what she's saying. Okay, so that's one of the Vitesse extractor fans we took off is there. You can see this condensation still causing corrosion in there. There's an arm in there. I don't know where this is leaking from. It drips from here for some reason, so I think the window seal's probably not very good there. Corrosion down here. Rachel's showing where all the drips are still coming in when it pisses it down. Oh, more sign language. Moving back towards the bow of the boat, there's the anchor and the anchor windlass that we've never tested. I don't know whether that's the horn or a PA speaker in there. The horn does work. I'm not sure whether it comes from there or not. It could do. And looking at the boat from the bow. Right, making our way down on the port side. You see that on the left, that's where another Vitesse vent has been. That one goes into the heads for the extractor fan. These areas here are where I've took the handrail off, that's unbolted. That's the windscreen wiper. That's badly corroded as well, so that needs some attention. And more Jotun on the patches of galvanic corrosion where the handrail attached. Big blister of rust at the bottom I've not attended to, and again we're back onto the stern. And oops, the wife's on her way out. Hopefully get some work done. So here we are moving into the pilot house.
Put my t-shirt on, my jumper was wet through, I got caught in that rain.
Ignore the clutter. This is used as a bit of a storage area. You can see it is a bit cluttered. Underneath this blanket, that's the helm. You've seen that before in a previous video. A little bit too much trash around. You can see we've got some dials up near the ceiling. Ceiling's in really good nick. Some light switches in the corner and more equipment here, the sea alarm, which we're not using at the moment, and a few other electronic bits and pieces. Moving down several steps into the main salon. This has been used as a seating and a sleeping area at the moment, hence the blankets. And you'll see there's even the TV on the left-hand side. That's what's been keeping us occupied in these dark evenings. Gets dark at just gone 4:30 now here in the UK. This is the galley. And you can see that white thing, that's a temporary fridge. We've got 3 fridges now aboard, including that temporary fridge. All the fridges do work. That's a heating system, heating air conditioning, which isn't working properly at the moment. That's got to be looked at. Microwave. 4-ring electric hob. 1 ring doesn't work, but 3 do. And we have the Force 10 gas cooker that's all gassed in. We've never actually used that yet, but we've got the gas bottles and the gas systems plumbed in. And trusty coffee maker. That is the electrical switch that needs some attention. Sink, and this moves into the forward heads. And as you can see, we have a porta potty in there that we're using at the moment temporarily just for liquid. And that's the existing sea toilet, which we can't use at the moment while we're on the hard standing. But this was expertly cleaned by Rachel. She did a fantastic job, as you've probably seen in our first video. And this moves us through into the V-berth at the front. I'll just open the one door. It's one of the wardrobes, but this is full of Rachel's cleaning stuff. But that's a double wardrobe. And the V-berth, as you can see, that's where Rachel was giving some of her hand signals from. And I think she was telling me about where some of the drips are still coming in. So again, much of it is in good condition, but what's bad is really bad. And of course, you can get into the heads from the V-berth as well. So it's got 2 doors, one from the galley and one from the V-berth. Back into the galley, electrical cables all over the place. And you can see the steps that go back up into the main salon. Underneath the main salon is the engines, and we'll have a look at the engine room shortly. And now down, we go down into the aft. On the right hand side, there's a cupboard, and that's got the 240 volt system in it with all the breakers. On the left hand side, there's the 24 volt and the 12 volt breaker system. The 12 volt's currently switched off. You saw me install that. The 24 volt goes to the batteries. That panel there is for the Mace generator that's on board. We've not tried to run that yet. There's a control panel from the galley as well. Here on the starboard side, that is the Mace generator. It's installed in there. It's seawater cooled, which is one of the reasons we've not tried to start it at the moment. On the port side, there's a similar cupboard, and that has the bilge pump system. Probably see there's a few valves and such like for turning on and off. You probably saw there as well, there was the hole. You'll see more of that. That's that hole that goes to the outside. Both of those go into the engine room, of course. Here on the port side aft is a double cabin. Well, it's bunks. Those bunks are full size, over 6 foot long. I think the camera lens distorts it a bit, makes it look a bit shorter than it is, but an adult can sleep in that easily. Well, 2 adults can, one on the top, one on the bottom. Just using that to put a few bits in at the moment. A light switch doesn't work. That's got to be sorted. And this takes us into the aft cabin, the stateroom that you've seen before. And you know we've removed the ceiling panels and been removing panels from the back. We've got that wall to prep and sort out. Those are the curtains that were in the boat. They'll have to go. They're quite faded. But you'll see there's some cabinetry. Some of it's still in fairly good order. This is the wardrobe. Quite small, but it's intact and in good condition. Parts of the boat that haven't been damaged by water are still remarkably nice and clean. But a lot of work to do in here, and we've got to get under those floors to the hull. This is the ensuite. It's got a bath. There's still a bit of water in the bottom of that bath. It seems to have washed back up from the bilge pump system. You can see Rachel made this beautiful and clean. This was filthy when we got here. And it's actually quite clean, cleaned up really, really well. And there's the new shower unit that we put in. I had to put that in because the original one just leaked when we switched the water on. There's the BTC no pull light switch. I don't know whether the lights in there work or not yet. We've not tried them. So not too shabby in the back. And this points towards the engine room. So access to the engine room is by lifting the stairs up. There's an inspection window in the stairs, and you'll see when we switch the engine room lights on, which you do from the 24-volt panel, you can see inside the engine room. As we walk into the engine room, you'll see the first lump we see is the port side engine. Twin 380 horsepower Volvo Penta turbo diesel engines. That bluey thing on the top, that's actually the soundproofing cover for the generator that's been removed. I haven't put it back on. You can probably see the hole in the hull. That's the starboard engine, and you can see behind it is the access into the starboard fuel tank. The inspection cover's been taken off that because I've been looking at the hole cut in the bottom of it. Volvo Penta TAMD 71Bs. If anybody knows anything about these engines, feel free to leave me a comment down below. I don't know much about them. I think they're relatively common engines, but I don't know a great deal about them at all at the moment. Apparently, the engines are really low hours. If you believe the tachos, they're about 1200 hours each. The fuel distribution unit. And you can see some of the batteries. There's 3 battery banks in here. Those 24-volt batteries, they are starter batteries for the engines as well as the house bank. This insulation that I've just stuffed on the top was because I was crawling inside the fuel tank and I needed something to protect my ample belly from all the spiky bits on the engine. That's the wiring and the plumbing for the generator, and there is the access into the starboard side fuel tank that's got a hole cut in the bottom. There's the generator. So we're facing aft now. You'll see on my right hand side, which is the port side, that's the bilge pump system. You can see the various stopcocks. Down there is the gearbox and the drive for the port engine. On the other side, that's a 12-volt battery that goes to the Mace generator. Got some work to do cleaning up in here, and of course, a future video very soon is starting the engine. There's the hole in the back, and that unit there is the hot water tank that heats up the hot water. On top of this bilge pump system, there's 2 bilge pumps, electric bilge pumps missing. We do have them. They were taken off by the previous owner so that you could gain access into the back. Second look at the engines, port and starboard engine, and you'll see at the back is the fuel distribution system. The fuel looks relatively clean, but of course we'll be stripping that out and putting brand new clean fuel in before we decide to start the engines. But again, engine starting, I think we'll just wait for the warmer weather in the spring. To those that have made it this far into the video, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all the support. We've got some interesting news for you in the next video, which will be out in between 1 and 2 weeks' time. So don't forget, if you're not already a subscriber, please click that subscribe button and click the bell icon. It really does help us in our journey growing this YouTube channel. Don't forget, please leave us a comment down below. We read all the comments, and if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Until next time, from the bottom of our hearts once again, thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.